Hey, what's up? I am Lauren WIlkins. I play Maya.
What's up, everybody? My name is Javon, Terrell, and I play Raymond.
Hey everybody, my name is Kamri Cole and I play Story.
And I'm Lance Williams. I play Brian, aka the Liar.
Thank you for joining us. This is the Tough Love LA Episode 8 recap.
And we are doing a giveaway for 5 lucky winners. So make sure you enter to win a Smashbox lipstick palette and click the link below to enter to win.
And Tough Love shirts are available now. Click the link in your description and purchase yours.
Also, be sure to follow us all on Instagram. You can, if you like to, and the YouTube link below. Check it out. All right, so we're going to get into these questions right here. So let me ask you guys, how do you all feel about the episode? Who wants to go first? So I can. Ladies first. Gentlemen. See, that's why Brian is the man.
And on that
Right.
note, Brian is such a liar. Let's just not breeze over the fact that he lied to Denise about the investment.
There was lies. Lies were
And Denise was so supportive, so loving to him.
She was
She
excited.
was just such a great fiance, and he lied to her. Wow,
Treated him with
such
a
a
gift.
man, such a fiance. He's so ready for marriage. Those are my thoughts.
I really liked this episode. Seriously, I thought it was really good. There was a lot of stuff that came to a head, right? Like all of our characters were like these. They got to these points where like things were revealed, and I think all season long it's been building up to this. I loved seeing Brian like get his investment money. I thought that was so dope. He's been working so hard. It was crazy seeing Raymond and Story, that altercation, like everything come to a head there, for sure. And going to see the lawyer, Maya and Dina, that was tough. I felt for Maya a lot in that moment, just because it's like she's trying to get justice. She's been to seeing all these lawyers, and she's just not getting anywhere, and it's frustrating. She's mourning. She's so. Yeah.
I'm curious because to me that was one of my favorite scenes in this, and for you acting that scene out, seeing Maya get so close to the finish line and still hit a block, what did that feel like for you?
It was hard. It was hard. I was feeling for her in that moment. The empathy we feel for our characters, like, it stays with us, It's like, even up here, we're talking because we carry so much of that character with us. So it was really, really hard. And I think, I know a lot of people are like, well, why would she think that she should work for her for free? But, like, it's not really what Maya was trying to get her to do. She was trying to set up a payment plan. She was, she had seen other lawyers before, but this was a prominent black lawyer who has worked on cases like this before. And she was, like, hoping, like, okay, now I'm here. So it was hard. It was tough to see that and tough to have that happen. And I think that that's what's good about this show is that those types of things do happen. A lot of times when things like this happen, people don't have the resources or the money to get justice, and it's expensive. Justice is expensive. So, yeah, that was wild. So yeah, that was a really, and I think working with Melissa was really cool too. I know a lot of you guys wish you had a.
Hi, Melissa. Hi.
Listen, Melissa, I'm so
Let's
disappointed I didn't
go
have a
at
date
Javon,
scene.
Terrell. Just
I'm so disappointed I didn't have a scene with you. I would have loved to act. That's honestly how I feel about the episode. I'm like, dang, why didn't I get a scene with Melissa for? Why couldn't she be one of the dates? But no, that's a whole different story. But I thought that the episode was great. I mean, everybody killed it. Everybody did their thing. Maya, you killed that scene with Melissa. Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. Brian, of course. Lance, excuse me, I did call you.
I'm that damn good.
That gentleman, damn good. And for everybody on Denise is doing a hell of a job. She's doing a hell. Symphony, you are doing a hell of a job. Kamri, marvelous job. Even though you've been playing me this whole episode, but whole season.
You've been playing yourself.
Oh, damn. Ain't got no comeback for that one, y'all. But it was a great episode. So let me ask y'all this: what scene were you excited to watch? Lance, let me let you go first since the ladies went first last time.
I thought it was going to go a little longer into y'all's interaction once Raymond finds out what's going on. So leading up to that, getting to that moment of you knocking on the door and just knowing like, oh shit, this is it. That was the one that was most exciting to me, especially because like reading it was exciting, but I wasn't there on the day when you filmed it. So it's a conversation I haven't gotten to see yet. And I'm really interested in seeing how y'all find your ways to that. We saw the teaser clips on the line, and it's you two just fucking deliver so well, man. Y'all deliver so well on this.
Yeah.
But seeing that moment lead up there was exciting. But then also, again, I got to give it to you, Lauren, like the scene with you and the lawyer. That was one that when we read it, even then in the table read, to see it go from the script to the table read to seeing it actually happen. I mean, man, wow, what a delivery.
Thank you.
And what heart and what depth. And even you getting up to like, to the length of going to unbutton your shirt, like I give you the shirt off my back. This is a phrase we all are familiar with. And you put that into your body and the actions you did in the scene. It was fantastic to watch. It was one that I hadn't thought about, but watching I said, wow.
Thank you. Thank you. I was really, really like, my heart was beating when I knew that you got caught up. When you said, you know, for me and my homegirls, you know, like, and it was like, everybody knows that feeling when you get caught up, you know? And then, but not knowing how you were going to address it, and seeing Raymond come to the door and just like, there was hurt on his face, there was like anger though, you know, and it was like, and then seeing you kind of get vulnerable and soft and like exposing, like, it was, you know, just kind of stuck, like that was, it was a lot of emotion, even though like not a whole lot was said in that scene, we only got so much of it, just seeing you two face to face, knowing the back and forth you guys have been having, it definitely was like hell of a cliffhanger. I'm excited to see what happens, where we pick up in episode 9 for that.
Nice.
For sure.
I'm super invested in Denise and Brian's storyline right now because, no, I really am. And no, I love the way that the scene opens up with like having how episode 7 ended with their argument and you walk away. And that was the first time we see you step away from, you know, your loving fiance. And so to see that moment, how this episode opened up with you guys kind of sharing that moment, you getting ready for your meeting, I thought it was so beautiful. And I love that moment that you guys share that's like unspoken truths and unspoken love between you guys. So I'm always excited to see you guys on screen, just see how that story unravels. And you guys do such a great job. Symphony, Lance, you guys do such a great job. Yeah. Justice for Denise.
And shout out to my brother Rashad, Jamy Pierrevil, who couldn't be with us. He actually is killing it too. We ain't say your name, brother. I would never forget you. But I was actually kind of excited to see his scene and actually see how, you know, your brother ended up in the situation that he did. You know, a lot of it was spoke about earlier on, but we never really got to see that. So just to see him wandering on his own and see how Jamy basically was the big catalyst and the reason that it ended up like that, it's like, damn, that's deep. You know what I'm saying? But the whole time, he never let you know that.
Right. Maya still doesn't know, you know? At this point, Maya still doesn't know. And that's like the weight of that, knowing what she's going through, and to now have this on top of that, like, I don't know. It's a lot.
I'm curious, how was that for you playing the part? Yeah, oh, you right on point. Wait. So, now,
Right.
How was that for you playing the part, knowing the outcome? You've read the whole season. You understand at that point that Rashad was involved. Mm-hmm. All faults aside, you know what the outcome is. How was that for you playing those scenes as Maya and trying to remove yourself from the knowledge that you have as Lauren?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I think, honestly, it's just not going there. I think anytime something actually happens in real life, I think we have women's intuition. I think we have intuition. Sometimes you feel like somebody's keeping something from you. And I think a lot of the time where she's like, you know, a lot of people think she's on Rashad, like, for cheating and stuff like that, and, like, overly on him about stuff. I think because there's something within her that knows there's something going on that he's keeping from her. And I think in her mind, it's relationships, it's women, it's sex, not her brother. So I kind of really just channeled that and really didn't try to, get into that, because if I did, that would ruin the whole show. That would ruin the arc of this character, because she doesn't know. So yeah, but it was definitely tough. But because when I'm looking at him, I'm like, I know, but it's like,
yeah. So with that woman intuition, speak on why do you think Maya chooses to stay? Because there is something that is telling her, like, something feels a little off, like, I know something's up, to your point, but she chooses to stay.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think it's a couple of reasons. I think first, Maya's gone through, a lot with her brother. Let's just talk about her brother alone, right? And Rashad has been someone who has provided comfort for her in her time of need prior to kind of a lot of the things that people have seen. But, I think that there is familiarity there. There's comfort there. There is a deep love there. But at the same time, I think, we don't really hear about Maya's parents. She talks about how, like, they haven't really been in this fight with her, so she really does feel alone outside of her friendships. And I think in real life, we kind of cling to our romantic relationships, And, as troublesome as he is, like, I think at the end of the day, she believes that, like, she can count on him, and she loves him. No. But, I think that's there's love there, right? There's genuine, like, love there. And I think whenever you're not in a relationship and you can see everybody's stuff so clearly. Right. We can look at our friends, we can look at our family, and we can be like, you need to do this, that, and the other. It's really easy. But when you're in it, you don't see everything. Right. Not the way other people see it. You don't see it very clearly because you're clouded with amazing memories and there's some, destructive behavior that you're used to, some dysfunction you're used to. So, yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
Do you think our romantic relationships become a part of our identity?
Absolutely.
Or do I'm sorry, geez Louise. Or do our identity, I can't even speak today, our identity is a result of our relationship. So if you flip it, you know what I'm saying? Because we all come from, a certain upbringing, which is when you're growing up, a lot of that, everything you learn is what makes us into who we are. Yeah. And a lot of times we actually put that into relationships. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's where a lot of traumas and things that we probably haven't worked through and things like that. Speaking of trauma, Raymond, i.e. Raymond, things that we haven't dealt with, and they basically, come through in relationships, friendships, and things of that nature.
So, speaking of that, do you feel like Raymond's trauma, because, Raymond we haven't seen Raymond on a date with a black woman yet, we've seen him on quite a few dates. Do you think that Raymond has some trauma when it comes to past relationships with black women, and that is kind of clouding how he, walks through life?
I keep telling y'all, I date all women, first and foremost.
No, he doesn't. Show us the proof.
Right.
The proof.
The Carfax.
Where the receipts?
Well, I can speak for Javon Terrell. I don't know. I don't. No, but yes, I would say that he does have a lot of trauma just based off his upbringing. The fact that he went through a lot with women. It wasn't that he didn't love black women. It just didn't give him a chance. And he was always probably the butt of everybody's joke. He was bullied. He was picked on. So it was kind of like a thing where it's a safe haven not to even put myself in that situation. You know what I'm saying? I put himself in that situation because I know based off of the past, that's just what it's been. And that just probably hasn't been something that anybody has proven me wrong at. But it also, I would say, Raymond, he has a comfort level with these other women, in a sense. he doesn't have to deal with the things that he went through in that time frame with these people or these people that he's dealing with. And it's a sense of more confidence, a sense of comfortability. Yeah.
So, and I know we can't speak on this too much, but it's interesting that you say that because I feel like Story has, she shares that with you. Like, she operates in what is comfortable for her, i.e., you know, catfishing Raymond, hiding behind the profile of Brandy because she doesn't want to put herself out there and be vulnerable, like how Raymond doesn't want to put himself out there with black women to Raymond, because now she's stepping up and showing up as Story, her true self, which Story and Raymond have a friendship,
right.
a long-lasting friendship. So she, too, is operating in that same space. So do you think that Raymond, I mean, you know, prematurely answer this, Raymond will be able to understand Story's decision to do that?
I feel like it will come down to communication. And that's something that they will have to have. But, you know, we'll see how it plays out in the sense of will they be able to have that communication. But I feel like in any relationship or anything where you're dealing with a significant other or somebody, you know, friendship or whatever, it all comes down to communication. And are you able to see eye to eye? And are you able to put yourself in the other person's shoes and kind of see where they're coming from and, you know, how they are dealing with what they're dealing with? And you know what I'm saying? But I believe that if they do have that conversation and they're open and honest and vulnerable, I feel like both of them will get each other. You know what I'm saying? So
essentially what you're saying is that
stop playing games.
Raymond
Stop playing games.
Raymond should step out his comfort zone and hit up a black girl.
Hold on.
Start dating inside his race, perhaps.
For one, I keep telling y'all. Do I gotta say it again? Because you're upsetting me and my homeboys. That's what you're doing, okay? Nah, but you're upsetting me and my homeboys. You gotta chill. About the DMV coming out of me, you guys. Let me get back to it. But yeah.
From a viewer, has Raymond's thoughts on dating white women changed after those 2 dates?
That is a great question, and the answer is yes. I believe so because the initial date, the first one, to kind of see how people actually, the outside looking in and what people actually think of you or, you know, of us, and actually experiencing that when someone you're dating, I can imagine. I haven't, you know, been through that myself in real life, but I can imagine that would strike a chord. On the second hand, you know, dealing with the second date, you know, just to have somebody to kind of play you like that in a sense, you know what I'm saying? And that's a whole different, you know, feeling or mentality to even have. So, you know, to see that, and it kind of brings back for Raymond what everybody else would do, you know what I'm saying, or i.e. black women in that case growing up for him. It was kind of like the opposite feeling, I would say. So it would be something, maybe he doesn't necessarily deal with those type of women, you know what I'm saying? I think he has a better judge of character now, more so than anything.
Should we talk about how you be leaving those dates just in the parking lot? They come with you, but they never got to leave with you. They just does Javon have any experience with that? I'm curious. Have you ever, like Raymond left 2 girls like in the middle of the day. Like, have you ever left a woman at a date?
No, you good. I've never left a woman on a date. You know, I always take you to your respectful. I can't talk today. I will always take you to your destination, or I might call you an Uber, Uber pool. By the way, if it doesn't work out, you know, that's the least I can do. The least. If it was something lower than Uber pool, maybe it would be something lesser. But no, I'm just joking. I'm respectful. I would definitely take her to her place and, you know, end the date respectfully. But yeah, I probably would ghost you after that. Honestly, or I wouldn't ghost you. I'll just tell you what it is. I'm a very upfront person, very honest in real life. So I'm very upfront. Yeah. But yeah.
Boy, you ice cold.
Dang. Nah, I'm a sweetheart. All right, but Brian, how do you feel about your scenes with the investor? You know, from preparing in the bathroom with Denise to getting the investment to eventually lying to Denise about it.
It's an interesting character arc. You've got a guy who is trying to get to somewhere, arriving at that moment, preparing for it, then delivering, and then having to come home with the news. And he's gotten the stop laughing, you go mess with. You started giggling. I was like, I'm gonna giggle now too. But there's the whole arc there that Brian's going through where he's finding his power. You know, Brian is at home trying to build this thing, and I don't see Denise in the same way that most of the response has been. Where it's very negative. I think Brian admires her strength. That's something he loves about her. In most relationships, we're looking for balance, and where I lack, hopefully you deliver. And I think Denise delivers where Brian lacks. So in this space with the investor, he's able to find his own strength and power by himself. But then that's making him start to look at things differently.
Right.
And you come home excited. You got the golf club gift, really pumped, jazzed about it. I don't golf at all. Don't nobody send me no golf clubs. I'd be so tight. but then that excitement is sort of squashed because now we're talking about the wedding again. And it's like, well, can this just be about me for a second here? And I think in that moment where any other day, Brian would just go, okay, look, like, I just want to talk about the investor and how great this was today. Or how the business is going today, but because he's got a taste of his own power, he's going, I can kind of write my own narrative now. I don't really gotta lean on this relationship so much, which is a fault that we all face in relationships where we're so intoxicated with this person, we get lost in it,
right?
Then we find ourselves, and then we can be like, man, shut up. Be quiet. Cut the microwave off. Like you can get a little more comfortable. Right, you get a little more comfortable. I think Brian just got more comfortable because he felt himself. He smelled himself a little bit more, and he lies. And that's the space where, for me as Lance, I go, that was not the right move, bro.
Let me ask you this. I'm going to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Is it that you got comfortable, or is it the response that Denise is giving you? You know what I'm saying? And the fact that she's not as supportive as you would want her to be.
I think Brian's comfortable with the conflict. He knows this is where it's going to go with Denise, right? So when it comes up, it's like, here we are. He's just choosing a different path because he's so settled in it now, and now he's tasting something else. I don't got to deal with that shit like that no more.
Right.
What if I just lied? Oh, you're not going to help me? You don't want to help fold boxes? You're going to fuss at me about the assistant I hired to help me with? Then why do you get to celebrate with me?
But also, I think that you weren't like that at the beginning. So, and you're cool with the conflict because you have to be cool with the conflict because you love her. And that's your woman, and that's what it is. But it's for everybody. If somebody keeps poking at you, eventually you're going to get annoyed. Eventually, that's where you break down into that, I don't have to deal with this. But also, you start having more and more success. So do you also? This is a side question. I'm gonna let you answer that one first.
No, go ahead. I don't think Brian is just putting up with Denise in the beginning. The first 7 episodes, I still think that Brian is so madly in love with Denise. He adores this woman. He admires her strength, and I would be remiss to ignore the fact that Denise's strength around Brian might elevate what he does as a businessman, because she's out here getting to it, period. You can't tell me that Brian's not in the house doodling artwork on the cards like, I think there should be like something here, and Denise is on the phone like, nah, if they don't want to do it, then fuck it. And he's like, yeah, no, she's right. Yeah, I should just go a little stronger. I think that's definitely their life, is that he is such an audience to her power and her strength that it motivates him. And if anything, I think him coming home and lying is really just him trying to emulate her strength in the worst of ways. He's not doing it in a way that's benefiting their relationship, but he's trying to emulate the strength that he admires in her. And it's a shortcoming of him as a man. which is a shortcoming we all have as men, where we find ourselves a partner and we find qualities in them and we love so much and we try to emulate them, but those aren't qualities that exist in us naturally. We have to find our own strength and our own voice for those things, and not just go, this is your voice, that's your strength, and this is how I will project it back to you, because I think that's what you like. Mm-hmm. I think that's what Brian is doing, is trying to hustle her, because she's a hustler. I think he's trying to hustle her by being like, oh, nah, they didn't say it. In a couple of weeks, it'll work out, and the money will hit the escrow, and I'll be like, babe, look, we can do whatever wedding you want. And that's a bigger success. I think he's just trying to play this game that he's not really built for.
See, I actually see it differently. Because being that Denise is who she is and she's a professional, for me, outside looking in, you are a man that is an entrepreneur. Anybody who knows anything about entrepreneurship, that is beyond a full-time job. You are constantly working in and out. So I don't think you're doodling when she's out at work. You're trying to figure out how to make it work. You know what I'm saying? The fact that, she is doing her thing, I don't think that you're playing it. I feel like, and it's just my opinion, but I feel like you're trying to match and take it higher. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I never understood why, like, certain men are intimidated about dating women who are established and doing their thing. If anything, that is
taller.
There's nothing you can do about that. You might get
5'8". Mind your business. Mind your business.
But I feel like that should be next to
My bad, I fucked you up.
Yeah,
I throw
you
up.
threw me off, bro. But I just feel like people should elevate, you know what I'm saying, and do your thing, and y'all match together.
Well, you said earlier about Brian doodling, and I don't think it's in the sense of like Brian just bullshit and coloring and scribbling on a piece of paper. I think it's about the marketing. It's still something related to the business. But Denise has Brian is an entrepreneur. Denise is Wall Street. She just has it, and that I think is a quality where if we were to cut into a private moment in the household where we would hear Denise hustling on the phone, big energy. Big energy. And Brian, listen to that and going, let me just send this email one more time.
Right.
Because I think that this distributor is not quite getting what I'm saying. Baby, come in here and send this email. I think that's their relationship, is that he admires his strength.
Right.
But there's a balance of all things where there's power, there has to be weakness. And so they're just acknowledging each other's weaknesses through this story arc.
Well, you would know better than I did because you put in a hell of a job and a hell of a lot of work
Thanks,
to create
sir.
this character.
Thank you very much.
Let's actually dive into the comments for a second. So, let's see which one. So we have Paris Jays. And she says, I feel for Maya. Honestly, but she needs to be more smarter and aware. How do you feel about that?
What's the name? Was that it?
Paris Jays.
Paris J. Hayes. I think, for sure, I think, she does need to be smarter. I think, but with all that she has going on, it's not that easy, I don't think, to make the right decision at every turn. She's struggling with what's become an addiction. She's grieving. She's dealing with a guy who continuously lets her down. She's taken a leave of absence from work. So many of us get our identity from what we do, how we contribute to society. So, there's a lot of things that she's already lost. She's lost so much, and even, like I said, just her parents not really being in her life to support her the way that she really needs. So, yeah, she should be smarter, but I think I have so much empathy for her. So it's hard for me to just be like, yeah, be smarter, girl. It's like, I understand that you're making some really not so great decisions, but I also understand where that comes from. That deep-seated pain, that deep-seated need to keep someone in your life because you've already lost so much. And you don't want to lose them. That's, how much more loss does she have to have this year? But thank you for the comment.
So the next comment was from Liz, and this was for Kamri. I relate the story so much it's crazy, but I honestly feel that being celibate helps to weed certain guys out, like the one who ghosted her on the date. How do you feel about it? Liz?
Hey, Liz.
Liz, what's up?
Well, good. I'm one glad that you can relate to the story. I think her story is relatable to a lot of women, and yeah, I think there are guys out there who do just want sex, and however they make it known, that is a lot of people's MO, and being celibate and being true to yourself does help weed out those certain guys. And I think good for Story for, not having to give up so much of herself only to be let down yet again. So yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask this question because this comment was for Lance, but I want to hear from you ladies and how you feel about this. So this comment is from K Knight, and it says, Brian is my type of man, and I support him 1,000%. I even agreed to have a smaller wedding with our most important people. So I want to hear how you feel, and then I want to hear about how you ladies feel about having small weddings, and what's your whole take on the whole ordeal?
If you could just drop your information in the DM and we could figure this out. I'll be at the courthouse between
At Go
5
Lance Go.
and 10. No, I mean, I'm with that, man. Like even when I think about getting married, I've seen so many folks spend so much money on a wedding just to start their marriage in debt. I said, well, if you go to the courthouse, you have your closest people right there. You before God, you do the whole ceremony. It's the same thing. It might not have the glitz and glam, but the emotional aspect of it should still feel the same. And then you go have your reception. And I'll pay for the open bar so everybody else can come. I must have BYOB. That would have been the wrong thing. I would pay for the open bar. I would invest in the open bar and some food at the reception so everybody can come and just kick and relax. But the ceremony itself, it should be a small, intimate, private thing. You know what I mean? Think of jumping the broom. This is a very private, quiet thing. And so the idea of it having to be this glamorous wedding, this big, huge ceremony, doesn't seem necessary. If it means something to me, it means something to you, that should be it. And the people you pick, your parents or otherwise, my parents or otherwise, those are the people in this room. And we weren't allowed to have a bunch of everybody else. And it's just that. And suddenly, that quiet room feels a little bit smaller, a little bit more special. That feels like the right thing. That feels like when you landed on something. Where you walk in the room and the cake crooked and the chandelier done fell down and somebody broke something and you're like, I'm not going to just deposit back. God damn. I don't want to do that. Go ahead, Kamri.
Okay, well, I don't disagree with you. However, I feel like, to each his own. Some people, special moment is like this big and extravagant wedding that they can remember, that their friends can remember, and their family can remember. And it's not only a special moment that marks the celebration of their love, but it's now a unforgettable memory in their friends and family's lifetime that they can now remember and celebrate within themselves. Personally, I wouldn't mind doing a small and intimate wedding because I think it is about the love, and the love should be the focus. So I wouldn't necessarily desire a grand, like, Disney World, like, thematic wedding, but I don't know, like courthouse. I mean, I'm not married or engaged, but I definitely agree with you and think that it should be about the love, and I prefer it to be more intimate, smaller.
Yeah, same. I don't think he's wrong. I think definitely small and intimate is fine. It should be fine. But I also think that we should address that society teaches girls very young to start fantasizing about their future weddings. Guys don't do that. Guys aren't taught to think about the wedding. Women are they?
Are you?
It's always, and they always say
It's
the women's
always
dad.
negative.
Yeah. But I don't think guys are like taught like, oh, I'm gonna have a big wedding one day, and like, but girls they think about, oh, my father's gonna walk me down the aisle, and their fathers are expected to pay for it, Right. So, I think that Denise's character, this is special to her for reasons that we don't know necessarily. They might be bigger than just the actual wedding, but maybe she's never really felt seen the way that she would like to be. Maybe, that's why she works so hard to be seen, to be loved, to have that moment. So I always try to look at, like, everybody does crazy things, and I'm sure people could look at me and be like, yeah, that's crazy. But I try to think, like, what is probably more than just the wedding? What is really going on with Denise, that she is ready to risk it all, that is what's on the forefront of her mind every time she comes home, you know? Why are these? And I think that's where, you know, I feel empathy for. I mean, I still think that it's a lot. She's doing a lot, but I love you, Symphony. But, you know, but I think Denise is, she's doing a lot for this wedding. But, you know, let's be real. I think that a lot of people maybe not will publicly say it, but they might be like, no, I'm not going to the courthouse with you. Yeah. I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. I'm not that person, but I think that there are people out there that are like that. And I think, you know. Mm-hmm.
Well spoken. This commercial is brought to you by. Yeah, so the last comment I'm going to throw out there, this one was actually towards me, and it's from Growing Up Andrea Lance. Raymond just be going on dates with anybody. Hold up. These are great prospects, for one. I check them out on the app all the time. I have great conversation. No, I'm joking. I ain't gonna lie. Excuse me. You know how, and you can tell me, ladies, gentlemen, you can tell me, gentleman, yeah. Ladies, gentlemen, just
we are listening.
But anyway, I don't know if you guys have ever had someone or tried to talk to someone over Instagram, dating app, or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Anything on the internet, especially during these COVID times. If you're single, you can't go out and meet people like you would want to, like back in the day before when everything was real and open and outside. And no, so I feel like a lot of people are heading on to these dating apps and stuff like that. So you only can get to know a person but so much without any interaction. So, you know, everybody puts on a front to a certain extent. When you meet the representative.
Yeah.
So that's always the case. You always meet somebody that is their best self before you meet them. And then all of a sudden, on continuous times of meeting some person, you just see their guard being let down, and you actually get to see the real person. You know, so I don't think he just goes on any dates. I think he just meets the representative. You know, any bad dates, he picks bad people. He just meets their representative. So I don't just be going on dates. Anyway.
Well, I have a question about that. So what is Raymond's representative? What does he bring to the date?
I mean,
what does he show up as?
Raymond is honest. He's always honest. He comes as himself. And that's why a lot of people, you know, don't always click with him. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't like him for him. Like even on the little fake Iggy Azalea. Joke. Shout out to her. She did her thing. But even on that day, you know, I felt like she didn't accept him for him, because at the end, when I walk out of the Roscoe Chicken and Waffles, she's talking to another dude. Got a chain on, nice whip, posted outside. You know, that's not how I came across. So me coming off as honest in who I was, and it just wasn't what she was looking for. So I feel like Raymond is always himself. That's why he's so open and so willing to be able to say what he means and how he feels when he says it, regardless of the conflict or how, you know, and that's why he gets so much backlash when he speaks, yeah, I like this, I like that, you know, and then everybody's like, what? You know what I'm saying? You know how you be.
So question. So this is for you. So get ready. I'm gonna put you in the hot seat. So we're talking about representatives. There's Story and there's Brandy. What is the representative that you're giving to Raymond? Is Brandy the representative, or is this just a representative of Story?
That's a great question.
And inside of that, how in the fuck did you get caught up this episode? Please, the people want to know.
She got lax. You got comfortable.
He just be upsetting me and my homegirls. Like, Maya, what's up?
Would you give it up with that line already?
Yep, I cannot. No, I'm kidding.
You need a shirt.
I know. Right? I
I want a crew neck. Caleb want a crew neck sweater.
Hey, Tough Love t-shirts.
Right.
Purchase in the link below. Yeah, okay, so I think that Story is showing up as Brandy. She knows what Raymond likes, and I think that Brandy is a good representative for what she knows he'll respond to. However, I do think that she does sprinkle a little bit of herself in there to kind of like test the water, because again, I do think that Story and Raymond, they have a good relationship as friends, and I do think there is some curiosity there as to where it could go, it could possibly lead to. And I think rather than just putting herself out there, she hides behind her representative Brandy to as like extra protection, like, oh, like, is this what I think it is? Like, am I getting the right vibe from him? Like, you know, and I think she also is hiding behind the fact that she's trying to teach him a lesson, which I think she is, because there's a lesson that needs to be taught and learned. But I think ultimately it's easy because it's like, I know this is what he likes. I know that he'll respond to Brandy well. And
so do you think we have an unfair advantage in our generation with social media when it comes to dating? Like, we can go look at somebody's stuff, or you have a relationship with him that you already understand what he likes. You sort of know what buttons to push. And I think in society now, we have social media. I know you're using him. I can go look at your shit and go, oh, they like Seinfeld, I bet. Let me drop in a line of Seinfeld on a date. Do we have an unfair advantage like Story has right now?
I mean, you said, do we have an unfair advantage?
Is it an unfair advantage?
I feel like Story has a bigger advantage because she actually knows him for who he is, and she has a relationship with him. I think, if anything, it's harder for us because all of us, I mean, I think we can all agree that some posts, at least one, it's been our representative and not truly us. So we're seeing a whole entire feed of Lance's representative versus Lance the person. So no, my chances of actually getting to know you and appealing to what I think you like is a little bit harder. And it's when you want to build that type of real relationship, you want it to go deep, and social media can be shallow, very shallow. So
for sure, very shallow. Let me ask you this. So the fact that she goes out to teach him a lesson, do you think it's any kind of I like him going on in there? Because why would you want to teach somebody a lesson if...
Yes. Listen, I like you, and I want you to do better, okay? I want better for you.
No. Don't like me as a friend. Don't like me as a friend, because I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to do that for a friend. Like, I'm not going to go all the way. I'll just tell you up front, like, yo, you got to, you know what I'm saying? But the fact that you acting, and then not only did you act as someone else, you actually knew his interests. You actually took the time to get to know this person. You don't do that with every single body unless you're really into them, or if you're a friend and you just spend so much time. But we're not kicking it all the time outside of me standing at your crib right now. You know what I'm saying? So it has to be something a little deeper for you to know my interest in Seinfeld, knowing Seinfeld references when you don't watch the show. You did your research.
Yeah, I did.
She does work with social media, though, you know. It's her day-to-day.
Yeah.
It's her day job.
Yeah, thank you. I get paid to do this.
Right. Not new to this. She's true to this.
Exactly. No, but
That's
to
a real
answer your
friend.
question,
real friend
Yeah,
type of answer.
I do think that there is more there. I think Story likes Raymond. And I think, again, she's just using Brandy to kind of see what that would feel like if she showed up as her. Now, granted, she's also scared because they are just friends. So crossing that boundary is like, ooh, like, I don't want to do too much.
I have one question. What was the plan? What do you think? How was Story gonna get out of? Yeah, before she got caught up, because he pressing to see her. Like, what was she gonna do to, you know?
As any real man would. I mean, you're not gonna just talk to you all the time without seeing you. Like,
Right.
What are we
But
doing
I'm saying,
here?
like, what was she?
Like-
I'm asking her what she would do. What was her plan? 'Cause-
Clearly, you can just talk to me all day and night, and we don't gotta link up. Okay. Honestly, I think she didn't really have a plan, for one. She didn't really have a full-out plan, but I think it was just like, I mean, I think deep down she was hoping that she would get a response from Raymond. I think ultimately she was hoping that Raymond would come to see, like, oh, like, I think I'm going to start dating black women. And then that would maybe give her more confidence to maybe, like oh, like, so, you know, what's up? She doesn't want to get denied and rejected just like how you don't. So
but the thing is,
the same game here.
let me tell you, it's 2021. If you like somebody, let them know, man or female, like whoever you are. No. I mean, I'm sorry, man or woman. I'm sorry, that was a Raymond coming out of me. But man or woman, like, because in 2021, a lot of women feel like, you know, I'm not gonna talk to a man or whatever the scenario may be because a man's supposed to do that. We're in 2021. If you like somebody, let them know because we're not mind readers, and every situation is not a one that allows us to go and talk. So show your interest.
You know, it's also 2021. I think, you know, we should have done a lot of healing in 2020. A lot of just getting past those childhood traumas. So,
I mean, I feel like we all have traumas. We all need to have, you know, work on our mental health. And this is everybody across.
So everybody that was feeling hurt in 2020, and if you're interested, go Lance Go, and you can just send me a direct message.
Or Javon Terrell, at Javon Terrell. Hey, but man, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you all. Glad to have you.
Thank you, guys.